Okay, now we got the infamous, this is going to be the top inside the bottom. Once again, that same trap below the waterline on the monthly Australian dollar to the dollar. Carry that forward, and your buy limits, you should be buying that area for a scalp to here. On any time frame that this pattern shows up, and your first buy limits would be here on this collapse. So you're actually underwater right now all the way to here on that, and or you've gotten stopped out. This is the projection. Actually outdid itself there. Got to use the platform trend lines for that. So here's your triple top to build your channel office. So you take this, copy it over, find the roll over here. Bottom becomes the top, becomes the bottom. It ricochets around, never gets back to here. You need another connection to this low because you're on the monthly, so it comes back up into that. You sell that. Drag this down so it's like a miter box. I call this miterboxtrader.com. The software costs nothing, but you build this complicated pitchfork, you keep dragging it over, you just drag it across the whole damn thing. This top becomes a double bottom, bounce off that. And this is really behaves well, this currency with this monthly. Here is the top that becomes the bottom ricochet point here. Here is a top, breakout, crush through, got a doji here. You probably have to put another trend line off at this bottom to pick up this projection to this area, so this envelope. Just copy that all the way down. Top becomes this pivot. This doji becomes this serious hammer. There's nothing on that. Nothing there. There's a pull back into that on close, and then until you get all the way down here. Damn, I lost my copy ability. Here, and then all the way down to that. Where this channel, where this bottom is the, so you're in this big giant channel, and those are all the flukes on the burr, so to speak. What do we want to call them? All the feathers in the quill, all the box of, if you have a box of puppies or something. And let's pick this as the, or call it like the antenna trade. Somebody call this the antenna trade. So if you go for a 90 degree almost to that, I didn't put that in the right spot actually. Should be a little bit like this more. Just about like that. So you want to capture the breakdown. It finds resistance at the previous perfect trend line with this complete symmetrical move. Then you hold down the control key, grab that, start taking it over to the last known low, and here is the breakout pullback, failure, baby swing doji into that. And just keep marching this down the miter box. Go to here. Same story, not quite as perfect of a pullback into the, and here's the other, yikes, now I gotta go for this one because I'm in the grid there. So here's the support that failed. No real confluence off of that. The other option is to anchor everything off the lowest price on the chart and swing that. Swing that. Now you're going to have a skew to it though. So skews do exist. There's the skew index at the Chicago Board of Trade. anybody's familiar with that. So this was the support that was supposed to hold here, and it became resistance. It broke out, pulled back. People got the hell out of that disaster. Once again, this is supposed to hold. It doesn't, breaks out, pulls back, another place to go short. So if it rolls over these zones, now the only saving, now we got to hold this trend line. So this has really been coming unwrapped lately, this Australian dollar's pretty strong. But you have to speculate in some way now. At this point, you reach this area of the chart on the monthly, you try to make that look like a logical, especially from the top bottom horizontal story, that you know there's stops here, and not to mention, just like in Brexit, and I always say Brexit's the latest known psycho sell-off, there's a channel, there's a perfect foretouch on the monthly right now. I'm speaking to the 14-year-olds that can wait for the buy limits to get filled about 1,000 pips deep. You build a channel and hang it off of this. Here you're going to need a channel envelope on that. Come into this bottom. So it's okay to put a little bit of a 50 pip window on that. And drag it over to this, where this top becomes a bottom here. So this is the transverse index on close. That's what I'm calling it. And I looked that up, and it's called the Kronecker foliation, some Russian thing. Those damn Russians again. Look at it perfectly resting against that double top. So this is another, this would be this, like the skew index to that other thing. I never should have put the grid up there. And so how does that help you now? You'd have to create an envelope up here. So future resistance, future Andrews pitchfork going down the middle here. If you connect, I hope I didn't put too many lines up there. I used to do this all the time. A little disturbing looking at first, until I explain it to you. Let's see if I get out my fancy draw tool here. I'm going to go super white and big on the entries. So what I'm looking at here on this last known thread, so we're in this killer geometric trap. And it's just like the New Zealand dollar. I think it's total scalp buying zone for bounces, but for the buy side, for if this does survive this top becoming a bottom, that the trend line to break is this one. The last one I just put in that touches here. You got a double top touch here. You got a perfect touch here. So you're forcing the market into a box. This is why trend lines trump moving averages. Moving averages have no structure. So if you can see this as a bunch of, as a 3D, as a cube, once you put the skew index on top, it starts to look more like a 3D time and space picture. So I fix the scale here so I can stretch and get the perspective of a different angle. So I can either go like this, but I really want to be like this. I want to say, what's the thread running through this? Can you picture the market? And this is this line here corresponds to nothing. This is the leading edge. So if that's the leading edge of that, let's see if I can whip up the. Just coming to these diamonds, it's like a Gann grid hand drawn, but it has the skew index in there. So you're coming across another degree. Now you could put another degree on here, but you can already see the thread running through it. Now if you stripped off everything on here, it's just showing you the cage it's living in. I think it's living in a cage. You got to let these currencies out. But just go to the most important ones that show up right now. That was just an example of the miter box theory. The only ones that matter right now is this double bottom becoming the top. And copy this around where we're at right now. And just make it so it's very concise. We have a confluence there, and we have possible projected down to here. What is the trend line to break to the downside? If we take this out, confirmation entry would be the breakout pullback. It has to go through the floor of that, come back, violate, come back. You're going to get on the other side. Is that possible? Can you see that happening? This is the monthly chart. I don't see that happening. The monthly chart has this monster support in here, which we've already ricocheted off of, and they've just cleaned up on that. That is just a house cleaner, no-brainer entry. Saw the same thing on the New Zealand. This may be New Zealand tanks. This tanks a little bit. They both start to fill their order banks. The buy limits go in next week here. You can buy right now. Buy at the market, Sunday open, and then just put buy limits all the way down. I hate to say that, but that just seems like the obvious trade. Go to the daily, you're like, looks just like New Zealand dollar. Taking out the floor. Am I in the New Zealand dollar or am I in the Australian dollar? It's kind of ridiculous. You might just trade the Australian dollar tight spread, right? Same damn pattern. Same dip down. Same projected. I don't normally look at these daily charts, honest with you. I'm just scalp. I'm doing this trade on the 1 hour chart and to look at this stuff. But same thing, right? Trend line to break for the bulls. Like, who's not? In fact, you're up. This is a better scalp. So if you ran both strategies and you bought this 50 pip vault of disparity down here, you're already out of that trade. You're up 40 pips. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. So you're already up in that trade. Great trade, right? That trade's over for the scalp. Now it could ride back up. The swing traders are going to hold it up until maybe this wick. You still got money. You still got profits coming. A lot of people are going to bail here. And certainly the internal double bottom, which is up here, right there. That is the double internal bottom. We expect sellers to come in right there. Dead on. What did I just lose my... Oh, shit, no, sorry. I screwed that up. It jumped on me. Double bottom internally there. So hopefully you bought that on new low theory in these little nooks and crannies in these ledges. Definitely want to have a buy cluster where the whole party started down there. I would definitely put orders from here all the way down, and hopefully you scalped out of something there. No, Australian dollar. Same stupid pattern, same 4 hour chart. You're already out of that trade. You can see on the 4 hour chart, you scalped out. Killer scalp. This is a reference from the daily. Completely comports to the 4 hour perfectly. No need to draw another line. Gotta love that. Certainly the channel is steep here, and I can draw a trend line off these two tops. Scalpers are looking to really work that area because, wow, take that out, pull back, find support there, maybe at a lower low along that momentum thread. And you're really drawing, perfectly adapting. Of course, you have to draw these by hand, but you could create an envelope. Here was a painfully obvious trend line that was taken out, but the internal takeout here was the first seller's dream. Was all these baby bottoms became these baby bottoms became that double top pullback. Find support here, rally up into, and of course it's just a good old-fashioned clip the tree tops on the weekly, rip it all the way back. You know, if you have a day job, this double top up here, this whole window, this whole wick window is nothing but sell zone ripbacks. We're falling through the floor here. You could build an envelope off that. Give it the ability to keep dropping. Give it some room to keep dropping, but that's the 4 hour, the 1 hour. I'd be riding it. Now the buy stops are stacking up for all the money management bots. They're going to kick in. So here comes that algorithmic trading. Here comes the smart money. It's not really smart money. You're going to tell me after 8 shaved tops that we can't trip a money management bot to cover, and people that bought that thinking that this was the pullback before. But see the double bottom, so the 1 hour traders see the double bottom becomes a top. They're getting in with their stop here, and they're like, you know what, if we take out yesterday's low, but see, they teased that zone. The scalpers came in. If you can imagine you're selling this new low, they grab you. They're like, oh yeah, you're right in the long run, but you're going to take some heat. Scalpers get out in front of this with really tight stops to trade the kickback into this bottom. And they even get more than they wanted. They come all the way back to there. Quadruple tops never seen again. A lot of money in 8 hours. Sheer down clean. And if you size it right, as you're cashing out, you're buying in. Certainly the ultimate trade. Drops 50 pips. As soon as it goes to 50 pip, you got a scalp grid in here, and you're just, you know, banging around. You've made enough here that you can even survive a sloppy entry here. Just a completely terrible entry. Here's a beautiful bottom, becomes a top right on that wick there. But the channel's giving you this hard story. You're going down. And the first trend line you can draw is on the 1 hour right now here. You can take it out. Just like New Zealand dollar. That's the double bottom becomes a top, roll over right now. Same story, different day. Australian dollar. Buy low, sell high. My recommendation is if you're long, hold until you cash out to here and then start putting buy limits for retest. And there's going to be a whole battle zone in here. Scalp it. Do whatever you can. Hold on some of it till you get to the seller's window and scalp off of that. But it's blow by blow, and it's really going to be, how does it unfold? Do we go down one more time before we go up? Did they trap people on these wicks all the way to here? And then there's like, oh boy, it's so happy just to make it back there that there's still one more bottom. Always never leave the door closed on the possibility you could go down for one more retest, like, oh my God, like, just one more time. And markets are notorious for just keep on making new lows and bouncing. And look at this thing on the falling through this hole down here. Just amazing. Miter box trading is what I call that. I call this Andrews miter box. I like it. I want to be long that right now for the scalp and then buy and retest.